Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grip Talk podcast, where your fellow Griffin, me, Makani Thornhill, will talk about pop culture, music, film, and what's happening around us, whether locally or around the world. I'm here to share my thoughts and opinion, and most importantly, I'm here to build a space for conversation. So, for our first topic, we're going to be talking about our current president, Biden, Joe Biden. He recently pardoned his son after saying he wouldn't like a million thousand times. And his son was previously charged with tax evasion and gun charges. And well, I'm not sure if you know, but previously he had some history of drug use. And for a while, Biden was just saying, like, I am not going to pardon my son. Like, he did the crime, he has to do the time. But later we found out that he did pardon his son. And there also was like a clip that I'll find of, I believe she refers to herself as Dr. Biden. I'm not really sure, but his wife was like at some type of like children's holiday event, and they were like, "Oh, like what are your thoughts? Like your thoughts on like Biden like pardoning your son?" And she was like, "Of course, like I stand with like pardoning my son. Like that's my son." And I don't know, like there's two sides to how I feel about this. I mean, the first like side to it is just like if Biden can do this, and obviously it's in his favor, but if Biden can do this, there's so much more that he could have done. Like just with like how people are wrongly accused and like in jail for years, and then there's times where like we need our president to step up, or we need like someone higher up in the government system to say like this person doesn't deserve to die by legal injection, or like, you know what I mean? And I just feel like this just like puts everything into perspective and shows that like if the government has the option to do something that will benefit them, they will, whether they're our president or not. But then there's also the side of me where it's like, if my son was in jail and I could pardon him, I probably would too. But I think just like overall looking at it, like it's not fair. I don't think it's necessarily right. Although I would, like I said, pardon my son, I don't think that it's right that because he has this power, he's able to make such a big move like this for his family. And, I'm sorry that his son is going through addiction and was going through all of that, but it's just like, what about the hundreds and other people who were going through addiction or going through these issues, and like they had real reasoning behind it. And I'm not saying that just because he's Joe Biden's son, he shouldn't have any struggles, or just because he has access to money, he doesn't have any struggles. But what I am saying is that, like, when you're in a place of power and you're surrounded by people who are in places of power, like, you have the opportunity to do better than someone who systematically doesn't have the opportunity to like make their situation better. So I don't know. A part of me is like I get it, but I'm in a lot of ways still disappointed that one, he chose to go back on his word, which a lot of politicians do, but two, just you have had the option to do other things for other situations and you haven't. So yeah. In the like conversation of politics, we're just gonna get this orange person out the way. But currently in the news, Donald Trump is pushing tariffs that would increase the price of electronics and household appliances by 20%. I mean, he kind of talked about doing this during his campaign, and I don't think like anyone understood what tariffs are, or like how like that will change everything. But of course, I'm not for it. I like wish he wasn't president, but I wish this specific situation wasn't happening, because it's like we use appliances, like household appliances and electronics daily. So the news was basically saying like, try to get your stuff now before the year 2025, because if it does increase by 20%, it will cost way more, and this will essentially affect everyone, which again I think ties back into like all of this is a system, this probably won't greatly affect people who are in that 1% and like are millionaires and billionaires. But everyday people, people who go to school, people who work, like this will affect them greatly. And again, will like kind of keep us interlocked in this system that like doesn't really benefit us when we need it to. Um, Also, I wanted to mention that this is like totally like another topic. So we're gonna switch to more some local news. But Philadelphia is now trying to attempt to do Trash Week twice, and like I know it might sound weird to like oh Trash Week or whatever, but I feel like the rats in Philly is getting crazy. Like we almost at New York level. Like I've seen so many rats on the streets and the trains is actually ridiculous. So supposedly, them doing trash runs or like picking up trash twice a week will help, I guess, with the rat and also like illegal dumping situation. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to like this them implementing the city of Philadelphia implementing this will be able to like boost the cleanliness of our city and also like get us back into some type of order. I just feel like the trash in Philly is just out of hand. Like littering is just crazy. I mean, littering in inner cities are always like kind of crazy and horrible, but I think seeing the effects of it, like rats and just like people having rats infestations. I've seen people on TikTok saying like there's rats in their walls. Like it's just crazy. It's getting to a point where we have to do something about it. So I am happy that we are doing something about it. In the conversation of Philadelphia, we'll also be talking about this again, the arena being built for the 76ers. There was a town hall meeting that was placed, I believe, this past Tuesday, or I'm sorry, this past Wednesday. And Mayor Parker held this and basically wanted to hold conversation about how the people felt about the decision to try to move forward with the 76ers stadium being built. I believe we talked about this in maybe my first or second episode, but just to recap, the 76ers currently are looking for a permanent home because they don't have one. The current stadium that they're in technically isn't owned by the 76ers. They're trying to make a change with that and have the home of the 76ers be on the outside of Chinatown and also attaching to the Fashion District area. And people just a lot of Philadelphians, including myself, just think that the congestion that's already there, adding a basketball stadium or just a sports arena in general, just it won't help the congestion. And if anything, it'll make it more dangerous and also put other people who live in these communities at risk. Um, Specifically, a quote that was at the town hall meeting was a lady said that me being an African American, we were chased out of South Street. I don't like it. I'm not going to let you get chased out of Chinatown. Ryan Boyer of the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council said. So he basically made this statement, and I feel like saying that you're not going to get people chased out of Chinatown after you literally are making the choice to get people chased out of Chinatown just doesn't make sense to me. I think they're just trying to kind of feed people what they want to hear and just kind of still do what they want to do in the back, like behind the scenes. Again, I just think it's unfortunate. I wish some things about Philly stayed the same, but you know, with gentrification and things changing, and I feel like city is really trying to make itself more. It to me, it seems more. What is the word that I'm looking for? Like valuable. Like I feel like a lot of the things that I'm seeing being changed in Philadelphia is reminding me a lot of New York City. They kind of want Philly to be kind of like that go-to place. And I think like whoever is Philadelphia's PR team is working hard, super hard, because I keep seeing people like move here, which is like, I'm not mad that people are moving here, but it's just like, I don't understand why. Like, this city has a lot of flaws. There's beauty in it, but there's definitely a lot of flaws. And I'm just hoping that these changes don't make Philly kind of unrecognizable for me. Um, so, yeah. All right. Our next topic, we're going to kind of get into some music. Um, But before we get into music, actually, we're going to talk about the current TikTok hypocrisy. I've been seeing a lot of discussion about this on TikTok about this pastry brand called Ghetto Gastro. A lot of people are mad about the company name and the name of the items that they sell. They currently have Pop Tarts, which they rebranded as Bop Tarts. People are saying, specifically African American or Black people, are saying that they feel like this name is kind of making a mockery of us and it doesn't make it marketable to other people. And I feel like personally, the brand, if you look up the brand and you do your own research, Ghetto Gastro is a play on words. Gastro has like a meaning of like culinary and like food. It kind of is that, and then also combining like the word ghetto, which a lot of people, specifically African American people, compare to as like the hood or your neighborhood. And I just think it's cool, it's unique, it's for us, by us, meaning that it's not supposed to be marketable to non-Black counterparts. I think the brand kind of makes that clear. If you look on their website, they're all about inclusion and telling Black stories, and I think that that's the whole point. Like, I don't know, like I'll try to find the clip and insert it. But the girl was kind of just saying like, it doesn't make me, that seeing that name doesn't make me want to buy it. And also our people are saying the conversation, like are in conversation saying that we shouldn't be turning down another Black business. Like, and I agree. Like, I think that there are enough people who don't support Black businesses. So to be putting your opinion out and saying that, oh, I'm not supporting this business because of their company name, is just like blasphemy. Like, why not? Why not support a Black business that's trying to create something? And not to mention, they're plant-based. They're made from all real fruits. So it's just like, it's not like they're creating something that's unhealthy for our community. If anything, it's healthier than actual Pop-Tarts. So I don't see why anybody wouldn't support them. If you haven't tried them, I believe their Pop Tarts or Bop Tarts, excuse me, are sold in Target. I say go try them. They're made from real fruits, and I heard they're really tasty. So I'm planning on going to buy a box or two and supporting my people as I should. All right. To end things off, we're going to talk about the one, the only Kendrick Lamar. We are going to hop into a little bit of that Drake and Kendrick beef, but specifically I want to talk about his album that he just released, GNX. I just gotta clap. I just gotta clap for him. I just gotta clap for him because once again, Kendrick Lamar has topped my expectations of like the type of music that he can make. I just think that before the year has ended, this is a great way to end the year off. He's had a real fiery year with the Not Like Us and a few disses that he did to Drake. So I think like coming and backing himself up with some actual heat and some real production and songs is just, it's amazing. Specifically, the songs that I really like on the album are Luther. I love Luther. I'm a big fan of old music, and it highlights a old Luther Vandross song, "If This World Were Mine," in the beginning, and I just love how he incorporates old and new music. SZA's also on this song. She sounds great. She sounds wonderful. I really like Heart Part 6. He has a lot of heart part type of songs on his other albums. So I think that this song to me is like kind of tying all of the stories that he had in his previous albums and kind of bringing them to like a close in some way. I have no words. I just think the album is amazing. If you haven't listened to it, please go stream it. It's GNX by Kendrick Lamar. He has a bunch of different, he has 2 songs with SZA on it. And it's just, when I heard this album, I automatically thought about just LA. It sounds so LA. When you hear the song, if you're familiar with LA music and just like the kind of beats that they use, and even just if you're into like DJ Mustard and the song that he produces, like it kind of has that significant LA sound that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that this is so LA of Kendrick Lamar to make an album like this. And I'm excited because they just announced today that SZA and Kendrick Lamar will be going on tour. So I'm hoping to be there. Tyler's on my list, and Kendrick and now SZA are both on my list. Another song that I really like is Dodger Blue, another true LA song. I just want to work out. Like, I just want to, like, I don't know. Like, this album just makes me feel fiery, feel alive. I feel like I just want to, like, it just makes me so proud to be a part of this culture, specifically Black culture, like the culture that I'm a part of. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah. So I just love this album, and I love how he's been so creative and adding more of like his singing voice into these songs, and just seeing Kendrick Lamar in a different element. I think he has like this kind of, I don't want to call it a stain, but this kind of like box that people have put him in to be a conscious rapper. And I'm glad that he's like letting people know that you can be both a conscious rapper but also a rapper that makes heat and bangers. And to wrap it up, unfortunately, we're going to be talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar's beef. I wish it wasn't no beef because I equally love both artists the same, but Drake is suing UMG. I'm just going to read a little bit of the article from what I read, but he's suing UMG, which is Universal Music Group, who is Kendrick Lamar is signed to that label. And it says that Drake has launched legal action against Universal Music, accusing the label of artificially boosting streams of Kendrick Lamar's diss track against him, Not Like Us. In papers filed in New York, Drake's companies, Frozen Moments LLC, accused Universal and the streaming giant Spotify of engaging in an illegal scheme involving bots, payola, and other methods to promote Lamar's song. Universal Music did not rely on chance, Drake's lawyers alleged. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate streaming services and airwaves. And UMG did respond and say that this is offensive and untrue. And this is still pending, so we'll kind of see where it goes. But I think that being someone who is a Drake fan and also a Kendrick fan, I'm just sad to see Drake end off like this. Like, I think that, Not Like Us was such an iconic song, especially during the summertime. And, Kendrick did like bring light to some things that, he accused Drake of some things. So I could see how Drake could be angry or mad, but I feel like a part of the rap culture and just music culture in general, like, get in a booth, bro. Like, get in a booth, make some music, and stop crying about it. And to say that people are paying for streams when I don't think you can pay for that many. I have to look it up. Maybe I'll look it up and put like a little like word of how many streams Not Like Us had, but you can't, some streams you just can't fake. And people were asking that song to be played tons and tons of times over and over and over again at the club. So it's just like, numbers don't lie. I don't know. I feel bad for Drake and how he's kind of acting right now, because I think that him being and knowing the type of music that he can make, like, just get in the booth and put all your anger into songs. Like, and I get it, somehow you want to hit them where it hurts, but I just think that in this case, silence isn't best because you've been accused of some things. So if anything, clear your name, but clear your name in a song, because Kendrick has violated you now, we on the 8th time? Like, we already dissecting the album. We didn't even get all the way through. And I'm sure it's so many other hidden words and things that he's saying about Drake. So, I don't know. I just hope that Drake can make a comeback. Hopefully he'll come out with some music instead of suing people. But, yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Griff Talk. If you guys have any more questions, or if you guys need advice on anything, or you have a suggestion for our next episode, please let us know at the Griffin CAC on Instagram, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.